What's up, everyone? If you've ever roamed the Kentucky countryside or the Tennessee countryside, if you're on the Tennessee Whiskey Trail, and you've seen these huge, large warehouses and these big, large structures that basically line the countryside near every major distillery, and you're wondering what that is, it's called a rickhouse. And that's kind of the topic of today's Daily Bit from the Barrel. I'm the South Florida bourbon guy. Thank you as always for following. I really do appreciate all of you out there that are watching my short little videos here. So what's a rickhouse? Again, it's a storage. It's a warehouse where the bourbon barrels, where the whiskey barrels get stored and they age over time. Let's think about how a distiller, a blender, comes up with a flavor profile. Now, if you're like me and you think out there, there's just thousands of distilleries, right? And all types of bottles have different flavor profiles. Some are really high in proof, some are low in proof, some are small batch, a collection of barrels, some are single barrels, barrel proof, cask strength, and the list goes on. How do we determine what color, what aromas we're going to smell, and how we're going to taste it? Well, it all starts at the beginning, right? It starts with the grain selection and the percentages known as the mash bill, right? And I've done separate videos on these for if you're a beginner and getting into it. But again, the mash bill, the recipe, what percentage of corn do I need other than 51%, because that's the rule of bourbon, right? At least 51%. Malted barley, rye, wheated bourbon. Am I going to do 100% corn mash bill? They're out there, right? Secondly, during the distillation process, we use yeast strains, right? Most of these are proprietary. Your Jim Beam, your Heaven Hills, these are proprietary yeast strains that have been used since pre-prohibition. They don't divulge them, but it adds, because in the fermentation process, we take those starches, we convert them to sugars. We take the sugars, we separate the CO2 out and the alcohol. We have distiller's beer. And then after a couple of different, what's called spirit runs, they go into a barrel. And now kind of the purpose of this video, the barrel aging takes place. If we put a barrel high up in the rickhouse during those extreme temperatures during the summertime, what happens is some of it's evaporated to the heavens, angels share. And the flip side, the cold weather pushes the spirit into the bourbon, we get what's called the devil's cut. We get different flavor profiles based on how long it's aging. Usually the longer the bourbon's been aging, the darker it's gonna look. Last but not least, they have secondary finishing. I'm drinking Triple Oak by Angel's Envy. They started in a New American charred oak barrel because that's a bourbon law, and they finished it in some type of other Hungarian casks to get those flavor profiles. That's basically it. Thanks for following, South Florida Bourbon Guy.